Welcome to episode 3 of What's Your Price? I'm pumped. The Padres just signed Tatis to a 14-year deal, so we're going to be good for a long time. I'm also pumped with how this episode turned out. I sit down with good friends and funny comedians, Andrew Sleighter and Brandt Tobler. We had a lot of fun. They tell a lot of road stories, they give a lot of insight to comedy, and we also had a blast going through the questions. So I hope you enjoy this episode.
My life is like completely different. Like all my gigs got canceled. My wife got pregnant. She got laid off. And now I'm like a gardener. That's what I do full time. So my life, I could not be, this has been a very eventful 9 months for me. Hopefully I'll get back to comedy here pretty soon. I don't know. We'll see how the world goes. But anyway,
So we
it's been
find
crazy. It's been crazy, I guess.
so we find out what happens if you stay home, I guess. Basically.
Yeah. I didn't think I was that potent, but I don't know. I guess everyone's like, "Oh, quarantine baby," but everyone makes jokes like when you get pregnant. The thing that I did not realize about telling people that you're pregnant, they all make the same joke, like because we were like, "Oh, it wasn't necessarily planned," like, "Oh, well, you know how that happens." It's like, yeah, I fucking know how it happens, but I also know we were using the same half-assed birth control technique our entire marriage, and it seemed to be working just fine. So you tell me what changed. We didn't change, okay? Nature changed. I don't know what it was, but
That's funny, man. Well, congratulations, dude.
Oh,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, you can see behind me all the gifts are coming in, baby. It's great. You get all this stuff in the mail. It's like, because we registered. And then I didn't even know, because we registered without having a party or anything because it's COVID. So it's basically like a GoFundMe we set up. We just asked for free shit and it comes. So that's been good.
Nice. Did you get I sent you guys a car seat. Did you guys get that yet?
No, no, we haven't gotten that. Yeah, but I'm glad we haven't gotten it because I'm sure you would find some defective one or something. I don't want. So.
Oh no. How about you, Brant? What have you been doing during the quarantine?
You know what? I've been trying to get my girlfriend pregnant, but it hasn't worked. Other than that, just sitting around drinking White Claws. I'm collecting unemployment from like 8 different states, so I've never had more money in my life. I'm rich. I'm just rich and I'm happy. I mean, I miss comedy a little bit, but I've been doing shows and everything's good. I've just been chilling. I'm about to propose to my girlfriend at some point. I got a ring. I know she'll never watch this, so I'm not really worried about saying that right now. No, everything's good.
Well, you're not worried about her watching or the 8 states that you're robbing from.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm really. What I'm saying is, I'm not really think anybody will ever watch this, so I'm just gonna be really honest.
Oh my God! I hope to God somehow this gets popular. This is your downfall. This is what takes you fucking down. Not your book about admitting to trying to kill your dad. This is what takes you down.
That's a good plug. Go buy the book so I can buy Andrew's daughters some more gifts. Free roll, available Amazon, Audible, anywhere books are available.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay, so Brant, you're in Denver. I know that. Andrew, where are you in LA still, or?
No, I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that been? Has it been as crazy as the news has been?
No,
Okay.
It's not as fun as the news makes it look. I wish I could tell you I had great stories of getting shot by rubber bullets and all that shit, but I don't see any of these protesters ever. I don't know. And we don't live like in the burbs either. We live in the like Northeast, and I know what's going on, but like, man, I don't think it's as crazy as they make it look on TV because I never see them. Gotcha. I see every once in a while I'll see like the graffiti or some store has like a boarded up window or something, but gotcha. I'll tell you what was crazy was those fires. I mean, that was the worst thing by far is the smoke. Oh my God. Like you go 9 months of not going outside because of the virus, then you can go outside and then you can't go out and breathe. I had a show I was doing these outdoor shows. I had the outdoor show get canceled because of smoke. So you couldn't go inside because of the virus. All my shows got canceled. Then I got the show canceled for smoke. I was like, dude, I quit, man. This is just a nightmare. So
be a gardener.
Yeah, that's why I should just stick to gardening. Fuck all this comedy. No one ever cancels their lawn getting mowed.
Yeah.
for anything. We could get attacked.
You can't cancel vegetables. You're good. Just grow some vegetables. You'll be rich.
Nature's way more resilient than comedy crowds.
Okay, and then Andrew, is that where you're from? Is that why you went back there or no?
No, I'm originally from Seattle, and then my wife is from Montana. So we're kind of Northwest people. And then she lived in Portland before she lived in LA, and we met in LA, but she lived here and always liked it. And then we just wanted to buy a house, and we couldn't. Yeah. We always would look in LA. It was impossible. So we decided to just, we kept looking further and further out of LA, and then we're like, well, really, Portland's like a 2-hour flight. If you live in like Alameda or something, that's like a 3-hour drive. So I don't know. It was, yeah. Barstow, yeah. So we ended up in Portland, which we love. And before the quarantine, it was like amazing. It was like the best thing I ever did. So
perfect.
Yeah.
And then I'll get back to you because I had a question for you. But Brandt, how did you guys? I want to know how both of you guys got back. How you got to LA. Brandt, for you first.
Well, I was in Vegas for like a decade, and then I just kind of felt like I had made it as far as I could on the Vegas comedy scene. And I actually met Andrew's roommate, Brian Moots, was doing shows in Vegas, and they had a room open up at their place. And then so I moved in with Andrew sight unseen. Andrew actually thought I was a much more successful comedian named Brendan Walsh. So he was excited.
For a long time, too. I really thought it was Brendan Walsh.
We thought Brendan Walsh was moving in, and it was really me. And then, I just...
And I had featured for Brendan Walsh, too. And still, after meeting Brandt, I don't know why, in my head, just somehow they were close enough personality-wise or whatever. I was like, this is going to be the same guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I like Brendan Walsh. It was a compliment. He's just just a lot funnier than I am. But, yeah, so then I moved in with Andrew and our buddy Brian, and then, I spent 8 years there. In the end, I was ready to move, but I think it was a good... I think everyone should go to LA. It was, back then, I don't know about anymore, but it was good to go there and learn about the industry and stuff. And I enjoyed my LA time, but I definitely enjoyed leaving. I don't miss it. I'm much happier in Denver. I have a much better life in Denver here.
Yeah. I've been out there to Denver. You gotta, it's a good thing going. And you get up at shows all the time when pre-COVID, so things were good. How about you, Andrew? How did you get out to LA?
I had started in Seattle, then stand-up obviously is what brought me out there. I lived in Boston, and just to try that, do stand-up there. And then it was just a kind of like everybody I started with was there, It just seemed like what you did. Like, I don't know for Brandt, but like I didn't know what else to do. I was like, well, how long do I stay in Seattle? All my friends who I started with are in LA, so it's like, it felt like going to college or something. I was like, okay, well, I guess I better go, or else I'm gonna have to get a job here or something, So I went. I had no plan, no like, oh, I'll get in at the Comedy Store and then I'll work on my pilot and take acting classes. I had nothing like that. I was like, I'll just go and do what I did in Seattle and Boston, like hang out at clubs and try and get up. And that's kind of what I did, to like varying degrees. Sometimes that worked. Sometimes, I wish I had like scripts and all that shit too, but yeah, same. I kind of agree with Brandt. Like, I had like 10 years there, learned a ton, did some cool stuff. I feel like advanced my career to a point where now I can kind of live where I want and still work, and that's great, So.
Okay, and so both of you guys would say you're glad you did go to LA, but you're glad you're out now.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah,
for sure.
How long have both of you guys been doing comedy? Andrew, you first.
Oh my God. Everyone, people are like, their stand-up birthday and shit like that. Like, they all know. I have no idea, like, the date. I can't even remember. I remember the very first time I was in college. So it's at least like 15 years, But, yeah, so I'll say like 15 years.
Okay. How about you, Brian?
I really don't know, though.
Yeah, I'm the same as Andrew, but I thought I was going to get an answer because I was lucky enough to record my very first set on a little digital camcorder, and it was like I couldn't ever find a charger for it, so I took it in and I had it made into a DVD. And back then, those camcorders usually have like a date and time on them, but mine didn't for some reason. And I watched I had my first 4 sets, And boy, would I be in big trouble now if they ever got out. I mean, talk about cancel. Just awful jokes about fucking fat chicks and Mexicans stealing from Walmart. And I mean, the jokes crushed, but it was hard to watch. But I think I've been doing it like 15 years. And it was, I actually watched it last week, and I'm going to put it on YouTube, but kind of hide it probably. But it was interesting to see, but unfortunately I don't have a date. I just would have to guess, and I would say like probably 14 or 15 years is when I did my very first show.
Okay. So if you put it online and you get SNL, you'll get canceled for sure.
We'd have to worry about any of that.
Those are all problems. Those are all problems you can handle.
Yeah. I would love to get canceled. Cause I think Shane, he still got the checks from what I heard. So I think he still got paid. So it probably helped his career, but no, these jokes are, it was just cringeworthy to watch. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but just stuff like I had my hands in my pockets the whole time. I didn't move the mic stand, just from like a technical point of view. And I didn't know any of the stuff I should have done, but man, it was hard to watch.
Okay. I want to ask you about what made you do comedy, Brandt? Why did you even get into it?
Well, I didn't know what else to do. I thought I was going to go to the NBA and play basketball in the NBA, but then I went to junior college, and they have very talented black athletes there that ran me right off the court. So then I didn't know what I was going to do. And then a buddy of mine's like, you should try stand-up, because I was, I've always been funny. Like when I was junior high and high school, I got voted class clown and all that. But I grew up in Wyoming, so there wasn't any comedy clubs or anything. So it was never really a dream. Like you'll hear most comics be like, well, I knew I wanted to be a comedian since I was 6. And that wasn't the case at all. Then one day my friend said, you should try it. So then I bought this book at Barnes and Noble. And then I read it all and learned how to be a comedian kind of. But then I practiced in a microphone a couple times, talking into a microphone. And it made my eyes water when I heard my voice amplified. So I chickened out for like 2 years, because I was like, I can't be like a crying comic. I was like, that's the worst. So I didn't do it for like 2 years when I wanted to. And then I eventually just invited like 12 friends and had a bunch of drinks and just there was no way out. And then luckily I think that first time went good. I mean, good enough. Because I was prepared from practicing and then chickening out so many times. So it's just something that kind of came together. And then luckily I did it one time, and like a drug, I assume I've never done a drug, but I assume like the best drug in the world, I was instantly hooked, and then no turning back.
Dude, what if that could have been your thing? You could have been the crying comic, and people came.
I tell you what, I was so scared to do it. I don't know what it was, but something about hearing my voice amplified, it would just make my eyes water. And because I had to do it in a public speaking class, and I don't forget, I was giving public speaking about some bullshit, and I was like crying, and I was like, this is embarrassing. But it was like a motivational, and then I was like, I don't think I'll ever be a comedian if I just cry up there. So
it would be cool if you could do it on command, though. Like
I probably
you could say, like, you could be like one of those guys, those comics. It's not as popular now, but when I started, there was always these headliners who like wouldn't have a good enough closer, so they would do some sentimental bullshit at the end, like just try to like send like a hard message, like, I lived a tough life and I've seen a lot of things, but kindness goes a long way, so be good to each other. It was always some shit like that. But if you could make yourself cry during that, you get like standing ovations for sure.
I never saw those when I started. All the headliners had like the hidden thong on, and somehow at the end of the set they found a way to rip their pants off and then unveil that they were in a thong. There was like 4 or 5 guys when I started. That was a big closer, and they'd spin around, and then they had rip off pants, and then they'd have some kind of stars and stripes thong or something, and the place would go crazy. And
I knew those guys too.
God, I need my grandma to sew me some tear off pants. That was incredible.
My favorite thing about those guys is this guy Brad, who I started with in Seattle, or he was a headliner when I started. He would do that, but then one night it was an open mic, and normally you just do 5 minutes, right? But nobody showed up. That was in the days there weren't that many comics, so like there was only like 3 comics, so he had to carry the show. He had to do like 45 minutes, and he did the bit at the end. He tore his pants off and danced around in the thong, and then we were all like, "But wait a minute, you didn't know you were doing 45 minutes, so you just wear that all the time just in case." just in case.
That's great.
You're gonna have to do the closer.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great. How about you, Andrew? How did you get started? Or what?
Well, it's funny. I've never really thought about that, but as Brandt was saying, the public speaking stuff, I always was kind of good at public. Like, I always liked like reading in class or like giving a speech, or like I try to come up with ways to give like a funny speech or doing like skits in high school, stuff like that. And then I was just a big fan of Comedy Central. I watched like Attell and Mitch Hedberg a lot on Comedy Central. And then I really wanted to try it, but I was too embarrassed to tell my friends because it felt like too, like I was funny with my friends, but I didn't want anyone to be like, oh, you think you're so funny, you could be a comedian. I didn't want to back that up. So I just didn't tell anybody for like the first 2 years I was doing stand-up. It was like a mystery. No one knew that I did it. I would just leave. I just got, and everyone's, and then as you get really into it, you know, you're doing stand-up every night. So like, where are you going all the time? And I used to tell, like, I was living at home after that, after college, and I used to tell my parents I was just going to the comedy club, but they just assumed I loved comedy. Like I would watch it every night.
Dude,
no one thought I would actually do it. And then finally, I don't know, someone saw me who knew me in Seattle, and then the word got out. But
that's a good way to do it, because I told all my friends, and like then they came to the second show and I did the same material, and they're like, "You're gonna do the same shit." I was like,
right? Yeah.
Really, you guys didn't know I did this, so
that's so funny because that happened to me too. When people first started coming, they can't. You'll never be more popular than the first time your friends find out you do comedy, because then you're like the most. They would pay any amount of money. They love it. The fourth time, you can't even get them to, you know what I mean? You can tell them Chris Rock's on the show. They're like, oh, okay, we'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of busy. I don't.
Yep. It's funny. I'll have people that'll see me and like 10 years later, and they're like, wow, you were actually funny. It's like, yeah, you haven't seen me since the first year I was
right.
Yeah, hopefully I got better.
Yeah. No, I know. And then they can't even hide it. They're like, no, you were actually good. It's like, well, I didn't need that actually.
Yeah, they always do actually. Fucking actually.
Yeah.
Did you guys, so for me, the first time I did it, mine was word for word, like literally like just a speech. How about you, Brandt? Was yours jokes or was yours?
No, you know, I was pretty good off the cuff my first couple times. I think just out of nervousness that, watching it back then, I didn't remember. A couple times I'd forgot and I pulled out my list and just was like funny with it. But no, I never went word for word. I just kind of jumped around a little bit.
How about you, Andrew?
You know, like the opposite. I was definitely word for word. I probably like had written in like pauses and like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, here, I'll look around, you know, I like wrote it that level of detail. And I'm not sure that I executed, you know, I don't know. The first time I did it, I bombed so bad that I wouldn't even, I'm sure maybe it wasn't word for word because I just fucked it up so bad. But
that's so funny, because if I would have guessed you two, I would have thought Brandt definitely didn't write anything down, and Andrew, you did everything word for word.
Yeah, and it took me a long time to learn what Brandt was talking about, how to be just kind of natural, just be a funny person on stage, be the person who made you want to be a comedian anyway on stage, and kind of use the jokes, but then don't like be a robot up there. That's what changed for me. I think that allowed me to be more like of a professional, is to kind of loosen up, you know. And I think Brandt, that is like when Brandt's at his funniest is when he's just
talking to the crowd,
shooting from the hip a little bit, you know. I think that's everybody's favorite. So
which I learned,
obviously it's balanced, but
which I learned over time. But looking back at that thing, I think in the moment it was just like survival mode. That some of the shit I said, I was like, oh, I can't believe I did that, because I think in the first couple times I kind of like blacked out of it in the moment of like, I don't know. I think I was just like, I said shit, and then afterwards when I watched it, I was like, I didn't even know I did any of that.
Yeah. So nowadays, you guys are 15 years later. How much of your comedy would you say percentage-wise is true for you guys? You guys, if you don't want to tell me, you don't have to, but I figured maybe you guys might.
Oh yeah.
What are we, magicians?
Well, I don't know, man. If you're like, oh, it's all, I make it all up. Like, you might not want that out there. How about you?
I would say mine, I try to get mine to come from a place of truth. Most of my stuff comes from truth. And then I definitely exaggerate or put in stuff, you know, like it helped with my girlfriend. The first couple times my girlfriend saw me, and if I was talking about a past relationship or something, she didn't really like it. And then when I started talking about her, she was like, oh, I see what you did. You took a story and then you glamorized parts or exaggerated parts. And then, so I think mine comes from that, where if I have a story that has a good middle ending or beginning, middle, end, and then sometimes if there's a dull spot, then I, you know, put in something that might not be true or exaggerate a part of the story. But I think for me, I would say about 85% of my stuff is real, because I just don't write. I used to write like that. In the beginning, I would just write pun jokes, or me and Andrew have laughed about it before. I used to write, I have a rhyming dictionary, and I would just go through and pick a word and write a joke about it. So in the beginning, my jokes were about 5% about my real life. And now I think over time, it's probably 85, 90% true.
How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I for sure aim for 100%, at least for the premises to be true, you know, because there's nothing worse than when you're watching a comic and they're like, it is at Starbucks, and this guy told me to fuck off and threw coffee in my face for stepping on it. It's like, I don't believe any of it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever's coming next, I'm out on, because I don't believe it's. So I try to make it 100% true in the premises. The only thing that happens, similar to what Brandt said, is like your life circumstances change. So like, before I bought a house, I was writing all these jokes about how impossible it was to buy a house, you know, and how hard it was and how we're never going to be able to do it. And then you do it and you're like, well, it doesn't feel good anymore to go do all those jokes, because, you know what I mean? It's not it was who I was a few years ago. Yeah. It's not who I am right now, you know? So like, if the joke is good enough, then you try to find a way to just update the premise so it fits the world that you are now, or the person you are now. But if it's not, then I try to lose it, unless I absolutely am floundering and just cheat on stage. I just have to get through that show. But yeah, like an ideal world, it'd be 100% for sure.
Okay. The reason I really asked that question, I just want to know if the guacamole joke is fucking true, or if that's.
I think it is, actually. I think it comes from a true.
That sounds true. That rings true to me, that Brandt would call them in guacamole.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was. I think that really happened, man. Maybe in San Diego, actually.
Fucking hate that joke, man.
Hard to follow. Like guacamole.
Do you guys write? How much do you guys write, Brandt?
Well, it just depends. Like this whole pandemic, people are like, I bet you wrote so much, which isn't true at all, because I was depressed and there was no way to work it out on stage, and I wasn't really inspired. So I should write more than I do for sure, but I write, I go through phases. I'm not very disciplined. So like I have 4 big shows coming up in Wyoming, and I feel the guilt of a lot of those people already seeing me. So I'm writing a lot more to not like disappoint people that are spending a lot of money to see me. So I'm more motivated by like that, where I also have like a 30 minutes that does really good that unfortunately I fall back into way too often, just here in Denver. But so to answer your question, I write, mine's really sporadic. I'm not who a young comic should follow.
If you are going to write, do you write it down, or do you put it in your phone like notes or something, or how do you do it?
I put it in my phone, and then I take a lot of walks by myself, and then I just work it out in my head. I used to work it out loud, but then people think you're fucking crazy. Actually, AirPods have helped me a little bit with that, but in the beginning, I'd walk around doing my set, and then people would think I was crazy. So now I take a lot of alleys, and I just walk around my neighborhood, and I don't really see a lot of people, and I just kind of work shit out in my head. And then I come from a family full of like hoarders, so I like to look for shit like when I'm walking around. My girlfriend gets mad at me because like the other day I got like this frame shop was closing, so I got like 30 nice frames. Well, it was actually like 8 months ago. So and the moment my girlfriend's like, yeah, they're nice, And now she's like, can you get this shit out of our house? So I want to help frame the nursery if Andrew would like. I have 30 frames. They're beautiful frames.
Oh my, where were you? She literally ordered like frames off of Amazon 2 days
Oh,
ago.
damn it. I got them all for you.
Cancel them.
Fuck. No, I can always use a couple.
All right. I'll send you over some
Hook me
options.
up.
That's great.
We'll spend more on shipping than.
Yeah. I got them for free, so we're free rolling.
How about you, Andrew? Do you write?
Yeah, I try to write. I mean, like again, ideally I would write every day. You know, it doesn't happen. I definitely miss lots of days, but I write a note in my phone if it occurs to me that way. Then or if like I'm walking around, then like I'll sit down with like I have a composition book, and so I'll write whatever that note was out at the top, and then I try to at least fill up like a page.
Okay.
And if I can just get to the bottom of the, like, usually the funniest shit thing isn't like the first thought or the second thought. It's like the third connection you've made, you know, if you're forcing your brain to like kind of jump. Because like to me, it's like an audience can make that first thought. Maybe they can even make that next connection, but the one that they won't see coming, it'll be the third one. So to me, that's like the value of like writing it out. It forces you to make a few more leaps.
Okay.
And so if I get to the bottom of the page and I don't have anything else, then it's like, all right, well, I tried. Maybe that isn't anything. I don't know. But sometimes you'll get to the bottom and you have a bunch of other stuff, and then I'll just keep going. And then I save the left side of the page for like notes, edits, or like set lists or anything like that. So I'm a pretty like rigid. I mean, it's not that organized. I'm making it sound more organized than it is. I've lost a million notebooks. I don't have like all my set lists saved in a file somewhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I do try to write shit down just because it helps me, you know, come up with stuff.
It makes me realize why your comedy is so much smarter than Brandt.
That's right. Now you don't get me hard.
It's not that smart. No, it's just like I'm not. It just helps me like be creative. I don't know, because like walking around, like in the same way Brandt walking around picking up garbage helps him think. Like that's how, you know, that's how I think. You know what I mean? So it's not really even all that different. And honestly, I wish I saved every notebook and every set list because it would help a lot. I'm just like not that organized, and I've lost a million books, and you know I'm bad with that. That's the one thing I would change is like if I could just have every notebook I ever wrote. I think I would really help me out.
Some comic has it somewhere.
Yeah.
He's killing it. Just to let you know.
No, he's probably a lot of shit.
I just picture Brandt walking around the neighborhood looking for garbage and just bawling while he does his set.
I mean, so it depends what I'm
crying.
listening to. I'm a crier, man. Depends what I'm listening to.
That's all right, man. That's why you're so mean, dude. You're so sensitive on the inside, dude. I love it. I love
that's
it.
Not true. Go
so did we meet? You guys came down and did my show in San Diego, right? Is that how we met? Like Andrew, you brought Brandt down, I think.
I think it was the other way around. The first time, wasn't it?
Or did Brandt, you bring Andrew down?
I brought Andrew.
I think I did like a guest spot on Brandt. You had Brandt booked, and then he probably needed a ride, so he called me.
It's a long walk.
Like,
it's a lot of
Andrew,
hours.
I got a set for you.
That's great. That's actually funny because I had to stop like doing my show, letting comics bring whoever they wanted to feature, because people literally would just bring rides and they would just be garbage, and I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. But you weren't. You were funny because I booked you to headline multiple times. But
right, it worked out. It doesn't always work that way. I mean, that's the way it should work, right? Like, get a recommendation, someone does a good job, then you recognize that as a booker in that capacity, you're a booker, and then you bring that person back and then move them up as they do good. That's the way like life should work. It just very rarely works out that way, you know, because clubs have all these competing interests usually.
Yeah. And Josh always tried to fuck chicks he could try to fuck. Like a true club booker.
That's not true, man. That's not true. Okay, so Brandt.
What a week.
As we're moving on.
That's not true, man. Not true.
We have a couple funny stories, Brandt. So wait, so did I meet you? How did I meet you to bring you down to San Diego? Did I meet you through Jeff?
You thought it was Brendan Walsh.
I have no idea. I think I just came down and did a show. I don't know, honestly. I might have just been down. I don't know. Someone must have, maybe Moot.
Oh, that's what.
I don't think it was Jeff.
That's what it was. You came down with Moot, and then you and I hung out a couple times, and then I booked you to headline. Tell them about the first time that I booked you to headline my show.
This idiot, as I was saying, got so drunk and then went and like got a hooker and didn't pay me my money.
No, that's not the true story.
Oh, that's how I remember it. Well, where'd my money go?
That's not the true story. I got a hooker. It was a girl that actually liked me. It wasn't a hooker.
Okay. They all like you when you're paying for it.
No, so Andrew, I book him and I do my fantasy football draft that day at a strip club. It's like we're partying all day, taking Jaeger shots, and I book him to do the show. And while he's on stage, I'm walking around telling everybody to be quiet and shush people. I'm like, shh, but I'm doing it like that loud. And so finally he's like,
Right.
Josh, you're the only one making any noise, dude. Like, shut the fuck up.
So
I was blacked out, dude.
people weren't even talking. He was just talking out loud to himself, I think. And everyone's like, why is he telling everyone to be quiet? He's the only loud one. Then I finally had to like scold him from the stage like a substitute teacher. Josh, go sit down at your chair and be quiet for the rest of my set.
And then that night, I ended up going with a lady, and we cuddled.
Lady of the night. You
And
said
then-
it wrong. You said that night I went with a lady. You went with the lady of the night, but go ahead.
And then the best part was I just
Oh,
basically
not the best part.
forgot to pay him. And so what, I had to like Western Union you some money or some shit like that.
He
It
just
was before
disappears.
Venmo.
After the show, he's like, hey, I'll pay you in a second. And then he just disappears. And then I just sit there at the bar for like an hour because I need the money. And then he's just gone. And I'm like, okay, I guess I got to drive home now. I mean, with no money. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Oh man,
And he
felt
was
I
gone.
like that was a great story, but then also Josh was like, I didn't get a hooker. You're telling the story wrong. I was at a strip club doing my fantasy football draft.
No, this
That's
wasn't-
the way. But
this was an
yeah.
unreal girl.
Venmo's changed. You know, me and Brandt used to talk about like we go on all these walks on Runyon and Hollywood and stuff, and we used to talk about like inventions what's changed your life more than anything. I think we usually land on like GPS or Uber, one of those two. Like change the game.
No, text message number one. Airplanes, I think we had number two. At the time, we were big on DVR because we could record our TV shows.
But that's kind of changed.
Then Uber. And then we had this conversation a while.
I think GPS was up there for me because I
GPS was,
can't imagine.
I didn't have a
being
car.
lost.
I didn't have a car.
But what I was gonna say is that Venmo is moving up the list.
Oh,
quickly,
for sure.
Especially in this, how you just can't be a deadbeat anymore.
No, it's crushing.
There's just no excuse. Like this fantasy football, half my league used to just never paid, and now you can't see like, oh, I'll hit you the next time There's none of that. It's like just everyone has it. It takes 2 seconds. Send me the goddamn money.
Yeah, it's great. Same with me. I'm the committee of the fantasy football league. You're like, pay me, dude. There's no excuse. You don't have to get a check. Just pay me.
Right.
Just
You
pay
can
me.
send money on like Facebook. Just Facebook has like on the messenger. They'll just ask for them. It's incredible. I don't even know how it works.
So talking about Venmo, you guys have been on, like, obviously I forgot to pay Brandt and I paid him, but you guys have been on the road a bunch of times. Have you ever had where a booker just didn't pay you and you got stiffed?
Yeah.
You, but not really. I've had a couple bad bookers that just were full of shit. I had a booker here in Vegas. I told him I'd throw a brick through his fucking front window if he didn't pay my friend. And then this coward, he got online and said, Brandt said he'd throw a brick through my front window and hit my kids. I said, man, I didn't say I'd hit your fucking kids. Your kids are like 19 and 22. Don't fucking play this victim shit online. Oh, he's going to throw a brick through my front. I said, no, I said I would throw a brick through your front window. Period. That's it. So I dealt with him.
Big difference.
Yeah, big difference. I'm not going to hit no kids.
I mean, if they're 19 and 20, though, fuck off.
Yeah, they're not even kids. They're adults. But no, I've had pretty, I just had one bad time in Phoenix but it was more the headliner was a fucking douche and it was a 2-bedroom.
You're forgetting a time.
Who? Oh, the
I don't
time?
know, a little trip with me and you to
Oh.
Indianapolis where we got paid like a third of what you got sent home halfway through.
That's true. I forgot about it. You can go ahead. I forgot about that one.
I mean, this story is just way too long. I mean, we'll never get
totally
through
forgot about this. Oh.
Wait, do we say names or we can't say names?
Yeah, you say whatever you want. Fuck them. But I'll tell it real quick. We didn't get paid, and I threw a fucking fit in the middle of Kalamazoo, I don't know where we were. And I ripped I ripped this bitch. She had a brand new SUV. I ripped off the door handles, the windshield wipers. They got so mad. They wouldn't let me
do. And he cried. He was sensitive and he cried too because I got mad.
Oh, Andrew got mad. He thought I was a crazy person. I had to cry and say, Andrew, I'm sorry. And then they sent me back home on a flight. They wouldn't even let me do the rest of the tour. They're like, we'll just pay Andrew. Yeah,
but then it was not anywhere close. It was some weird. They tried to wiggle out of the deal. They sent Brandt home on a flight that probably cost all the money because, like, I don't know what a same-day flight from Kalamazoo to LA is, but it's not cheap.
They paid for it.
Yeah, because they were desperate to get him out of there because he was gonna. It's so complicated, but he was gonna drop some infidelity information if they wanted him gone because he was like a ticking time bomb around her husband.
Yeah. So her husband was racist. We had dinner with him before, and these two chicks fucked these black comics that I started with in Vegas. And I called her house in the middle of the night and said, hey, I called her kid's phone number because I said I was Kobe Bryant. It's a crazy story, actually. Remember?
Because they were trying to.
That's why I had the little kid's phone number. They were trying to leave us in Wisconsin. I called the house. I said, I'm telling your husband you're up there fucking black dudes. Because the night before, he was so racist at dinner. And I was like, and then they said they wouldn't even let me cross the border. Like, they got me a flight in. They wouldn't even let me come back to Indiana because they knew I was wrecked shop. And then poor Andrew had to, I felt so bad.
I had to finish out the stupid shows.
You still did them?
Yeah, because I was trying to I needed to get paid, you know?
They put Andrew in this shitty hotel that he didn't have.
No, they didn't even put me. No, they were like, because we were supposed to stay at their house, but they didn't even want me. Like, I'm the least confrontational person ever, but even me, they were like, we don't need him around the husband either. So they made me get my own hotel, and I got this shitty Super 8 where the door didn't work, and it was the Big Ten championship game, so all these morons around me everywhere. But I think I got paid like a third of what we were supposed to get, all in like weird cash too, like 1s and 5s and stuff. And
they wouldn't give Andrew a hotel key, so he had to go to the front desk every time he wanted to get
right. No, the door didn't work, so like if I wanted to come in and out of I had to like call and get like a usher to get in and out of the shittiest hotel. It was a nightmare.
I forgot all about that.
But I've had a couple other times in that, but they were less eventful. It was just the guy remember the dude in Scottsdale, Brandt, the guy Cato would always.
Oh yeah, Brian Mullins.
Yeah, he still owes me like a few $100. He kind of dropped off the face of the earth, but just stuff like that.
Is that what's the worst show you guys have ever done? You first, Andrew.
Oh man. You know what? I think, Josh, you might relate to this because I always think that Orange County beach crowds are the worst crowds in the world. Like San Diego's got good crowds, but once you get into that Orange County, like from Huntington Beach, kind of those crowds,
they're bad.
Fucking suck. And I did one show. I think Grant Cotter was booking it or something. And I did one show, and it was like one of those things where it's like, it's a bar show. Nobody knows it's a comedy show. And it was way too long of a lineup. And I was going on last and slowly dwindling. People are leaving. And then all that was left was this one table, like drunk Orange County, like, cougars or whatever, wine drunk, just yelling shit out the whole time. And I was like, just doing my act, trying to get through it. And then she says something, I go, what? Which is a big mistake. And she just goes, show us your dick. That's what she yelled at me, this stupid lady. I was like, why would I do that, I'm not going to do. And she goes, well, you're not funny, so you might as well show us. I was like, well, I don't really know. That's pretty good. I don't know what to say to that.
That's a pretty good fucking soul.
I'm kind of dead here. Yeah, so I shouldn't have tried to match wits with the drunk Orange County lady. The Real Housewife of whatever.
There was some brutal shows out there. I did one of like that same area, and like the fucking Kings game was on, and they just left the TVs on.
Oh yeah.
Crowds were cheering for the Kings game. You're just like, what am I doing here? What am I
Yeah.
doing here? How about you, Brandt? Where's show?
I've had a bunch. I mean, I had
a couple
something
of them.
similar to that where I was doing this charity show not too long ago in this big auditorium full of just rich white people up in like Aspen and Vale for like a fucking rich kid daycare. And I'm supposed to do like 45 to an hour at about the 10-minute spot. This bitch sitting like 10 rows back, dead center, just drunk, wine drunk again. Just, I tell a joke and it does really good and they're laughing, and then I take that pause to start the next one, and this bitch just goes, "You're a fucking douche." And I was like, oh my God, here we go. And here we go. So that was rough because then I'm just too mean. Like I'm mean.
Yeah.
But the other one, the really bad one I just did not like about before the pandemic, I was in Rawlins, Wyoming, in this little town, and I was doing they do these shows in bars that are attached to hotels. I was doing this bar show, and a lot of these oil workers that are just fucking raggedy ass, these oil workers, they're just drunk fucking trash people, And there was this big lesbian butch chick, just big oil rig chick, and then the owner of the bar is like this big black dude. And as I'm closing out my set, this butch lesbian just charges this big black dude, and they just start fist fighting in the middle of the fucking bar. And I close up, and I come off stage. I had my books. I was going to try to sell my merch, but I came off stage, and as I came off the stage, the police officers came over, and I had to like give a statement because I had the best view of what was going on because everybody else was watching me, and they were fucking fist fighting in the back of the room. And so I didn't sell any merch that night, and I had to give a police report. So that one was bad, but I mean, I've done nudist colony shows, and I've done weddings, and I've done just fucking every bad show that would pay me $50. So
That's funny.
it's survival some nights.
I get it. A couple more questions, and then we'll get to the what's your price. You guys, any advice for brand new comics?
Yeah, go listen to our podcast. Me and Andrew did a 25-episode podcast called Stand Up Explained, where we teach you how to be a comic, and it's free, so you don't waste your money on comedy classes. It's just on iTunes, Spotify. Called
That's
Stand
why
Up
I asked it.
Explained.
This was a lead-in to that.
Oh, okay. Well, then I nailed it.
Yeah, dude, nailed it. Biggest pet peeves that comics do. Do you guys have any? One of mine is when they'll do a joke and then the joke doesn't work, and like say they're talking about Trump, and they'll be like, "Oh, you guys must like Trump then." Like I hate that.
Oh yeah.
Comics do that shit.
I didn't know it was a gardeners convention here
Yeah.
today. Like it's always a convention. Whatever you made fun of, it's the conventions here.
Fuck off.
Yeah, that's
Any pet peeves
annoying.
Comics do.
I just don't like the entitlement of these fucking like nerd comics that they've never done anything. I think I always say this about comedy: if you just go write your name on a piece of paper, you can call yourself a comic, which I think is fucking absurd. So I have a big problem with a lot of the comics here in Denver because I'm an athlete. When you play sports, you understand there's a hierarchy and you move up like freshman team to JV and varsity. So my big thing is more, I have a problem with a lot of fucking shitty comics just being shitty on social media.
Yeah, I got you. How about you, Andrew? And by the way, we're an athlete, bro. I don't think you're an athlete anymore.
I'm playing in I have a pickleball tournament on Friday I'm going to win, so suck my dick. I'm playing a bunch of old ladies, but I'm going to fucking win this shit.
No, they run you. Come on, be honest.
Well, we'll see. This is my first tournament on Friday, so we'll see.
How about you, Andrew? Any
I don't know. I felt like I used to have a million pet peeves, but now I never see comedy anymore, so I forgot what they all were. But I would say I don't like, this is so specific, but too many comics do it, is the bit where it's very hacky, but they'll go, the bit where the agent booked them. It's like, oh, my agent wanted to have me play Madison Square Garden, but I said, no, I want to play a gas station parking lot in front of 17 people. And they said, well, we'll pay you $10,000. I said, no, I want to do it for free. That shit is so fucking tired. So
the Craig Gass bit forever.
Yeah, I mean, he wishes he wrote that. I mean, that's just
yeah. Well, I've seen
older
it.
than-
I told you about comics. There's a comic in Vegas that did that at 2 venues, and they're like, you know what? If you think our place is shitty, just don't come back.
Yeah.
He lost
That's
work by
hilarious.
just doing that stupid fucking bit.
But that's a pet peeve of mine too. Okay, now I'm getting to it. It's from comedy clubs that like will write it into the contract, like don't make, like shitty clubs will like write, hey, don't make fun of
Yeah.
our water heater that leaks and hisses during the show. Every comic talks about it. You don't need. It's like, how about you fix the goddamn water heater? Like, if every comic is remarking upon, maybe it's worth fucking doing something about it.
That's great. That's
So then you have to stand up there like a psychopath while this thing's going crazy and pretend like you're not hearing it. You know, like it's so weird. I hate that.
Too funny. All right, last question. Best show you guys have ever done?
Ooh.
Comics never know what the best is.
You know, for me, my first time I went back home to Wyoming, I did a show at this historic theater, and it was like the first time I was actually good at stand-up, and the whole town came out, and you know, just going home for me it was very special. And then it's a theater I rode my bike by 1,000 times. I never dreamed of being a comedian, so I'll never forget that night coming off stage, and my girlfriend at the time was waiting. I remember just falling into her arms, just crying. I couldn't fucking believe it. And then they brought me back out.
No way you were
More
and
crying.
I'm bawling like a
Jesus.
little bitch. But it was that was the first time when I was like, this is like really special. So for me to go home and do shows is special. And then when I got to go perform for the troops in like Italy and Greece and Turkey, not only were they just beautiful places, it was just a cool thing that when I started comedy, I was always like, it'd be cool to go over there, and just the weird feeling of like everything's super formal before the show, very handshaky and very military formal. And then after the show, it's like big hugs and people telling you thank you and telling you, you don't know how much we needed this. That was like a really fucking cool thing. So those are, I mean, that's kind of a pandering thing, but it is the truth.
Oh, that's
because
awesome.
audiences don't ever thank you like that. So that was really cool. When I never had someone say like, you don't know how much we needed this. So that was also very cool.
That's cool. How about you, Andrew?
Well, I like that Brandt was like, oh, I went and performed for the troops. They were so grateful. In Italy. Like, they were not exactly at the front lines there. They're eating pasta and fucking doing a march every weekend. Like, I don't know.
Let me just tell you something,
They
Andrew.
needed it so bad.
When
They have YouTube.
When you serve your country, you don't question where they send you. You just go. I got my orders and I went where they sent me.
Way to go to those Italy fucking battle zones, dude.
I still have PTSD from going to Bali to perform for the Coast Guard. I don't know. Oh, best show ever. So I definitely was not like the best I've ever. I mean, I did good for who I was at the time. This was a long time ago, but I opened for Attell at the Moore Theater in Seattle, and like I was so nervous because I'd done one theater show before that, and when you're playing for like someone else's crowd, like they're all there. It's a theater that isn't like a comedy club, so they're all there to see Attell, and I was very nervous that his crowd would like just be like, "Come on, let's go, let's get to." But they could not have been more like. There could not have been a better crowd. It was a really fun theater show. And then Attell afterward was so nice, and he was super nice to my friends who, when they wanted to meet him and stuff. So that was a big night for me.
That's a cool one. That's cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking, Brandt, I wanted to tell the story about the Comedy Store time you stayed here, but I don't think I can tell that one.
What?
At the condo.
Oh, I don't care.
You and I.
I've already said.
But we fell. You fell off the wall and fell in the cactus.
Yeah, fucking. I go down to do Josh's show, and he says he'll give me a hotel room, and the motherfucker doesn't get me a hotel room.
No, that's not how it went down.
He's like, we could just sneak into the Comedy Store condo. I was like, all right, because he's a pussy. He's just a Raider fan, but a pussy. So then I try to climb into this fucking condo. I fall off the balcony, and there's people in the condo. Thank God, we probably would have got killed. I fall in a cactus. Now it's fucking 2 a.m. We're drunk with no place to stay, and this fucking idiot's pulling cactus things out of my back. There's probably 100 cactus things in my back because he can't just get us a hotel room, this idiot.
No, that wasn't it, dude, but kind of.
It's all his money on hookers.
You go, we can stay at the Comedy Store condo. I go, all right. And I go, we were going to sneak in. And I go, it's this one, but I picked the wrong building.
Oh.
So he climbed in and then saw people were in it. So he panicked and then fell.
On a cactus, bro. That poor cactus is dead. Crushed it.
All right, you guys. So this is the part that's my favorite, obviously. It's called What's Your Price? You guys are going to tell me how much money it would take for you to do this, what I'm asking. Like maybe write it down if you have paper there. Just I don't want you guys to share your answers, and I want you guys to do it individually.
Okay.
So the first question.
Lost my light.
Hold on.
Hang on.
You got a ring light. That's classic.
Oh yeah, baby. This is a new world.
Influencer.
All I do is virtual comedy now.
Yeah, who doesn't, nerd?
I know this light is just natural.
Yeah. Well, that's why we look way better than you. Go ahead. We're ready.
All right. How much would it take for you to get in the ring with Mike Tyson?
And fight?
So the rule
How
is
long?
you have to throw at least one punch, and it has to go around, which you probably wouldn't.
You don't know that, bitch.
How much money would it take?
Okay.
I gotta calculate my medical bills. Jesus.
This dude's got a calculator.
I'm writing it down. You told me to write it down.
Yeah, I know. How about you, Brandt? Well, what do you say?
I'm ready. Am I up?
Yep.
$10,000.
You.
Wow.
I would do it for $10,000 because I think
I am so blown away because Brandt is rich now. I thought this game, old Brandt, I would have thought 10,000. I did not think new rich Brandt.
well, hear me out on this.
This is gonna be great. Andrew, how much?
I got 25,000. If you can see.
Oh, see, that's not that different.
Okay, that's
Oh,
not
it's
too bad.
15,000 more.
But that's why I bid 10,000 to underbid other people because the press you would get, you can't put a price on the press of a fat bearded white dude fighting Mike Tyson. I would sell out comedy clubs for the rest of my life if I survived. So I was thinking long term, and I knew I had to undercut Andrew because I gotta get that. That's you know how much exposure that'd be. I'd be fucking
Yeah, you don't want to be.
famous.
You don't want to be the second dumb white comedian to fight Mike Tyson. You got to be the first because the second one's not going to be as famous. Once he's knocked out as like ninth comedian, it's not going to really draw much. It's like Last Comic Standing. You want to be the first person who won it, not like the
right. You know how many people have done dumb shit after Steve-O? A bunch of white dudes. You never heard of them. You got to be the first jackass.
Well, Brandt, I want you to know out of everybody I've asked, you're the cheapest so far. So basically, if we raise 10 grand, and we'll probably have to raise $1.010 million because we'll have to pay Mike Tyson $1 million to do it.
I'm in.
We're gonna get it done.
I'm ready. I've been trained. I was at Orange Theory today. I'm ready.
How long do you guys think you would last?
I mean,
as
long as I could run away.
Yeah, it's up to him. Honestly,
I'm moving the whole time and staying as far away as I can. And if he's in good shape, I mean, he'll get me eventually, I'm sure. And
yeah,
one punch, I'm done. But
have you guys seen that training video of him at 53 training?
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, I'm very scared. I'm appropriately scared
like
of Mike
we
Tyson.
said, we'd last as long as he wants us to.
All right.
It's not really up to us.
Next one. To go streaking at a game, how much would it take?
What game?
And this is at a football or basketball game.
Professional game?
Professional game when there were fans.
So you got to think, if you do it at like a high school game, that's like a fucking child porn shit. You got to put
no child porn.
Oh, I got to fucking see what I'm waging. All right,
YMCA 6th grade volleyball game.
That's what I'm saying. I got to know what you're doing.
Kids,
so it's a professional men's league game, right?
This is like the Rockies or.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I got mine.
What do you
I
got?
might have gone high here. I don't know.
What do you got?
Andrew, you go first.
I'll go first. I did 12,000.
12,000. Okay, I think. What do you go, Brandt?
5,000.
Dude, bro, we're gonna raise that, no problem.
I do it. I could probably do it.
I mean,
for
you could get Brandt in the right place to just do it anyway.
yeah,
Probably.
I would.
That's way out of my. It's just not my MO.
We have to be naked though.
Yeah, it's streaking, dude. What do you think? Fucking streaking in your shorts? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with 5,000.
Oh, dude, I can't wait till this is a thing.
Because what do you think of? And you got to bail me out of jail though. Well, it's probably just stadium jail, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Be good content for my career.
It's great.
You explain to my girlfriend. Hey, babe, I got to go streak tonight. I might be home in the morning, or I don't know if it's a holiday. I'll be back on Tuesday. So I love
We
you.
made 5K.
But we made 5,000.
What did you say? You said, Andrew, you said 12,000?
Yeah, that's. I was gonna say 10, and then I was like, 2 for the hassle. I don't know. 12 sounds right. 12 gets me excited enough to do it, I think.
So you can do it with a boner.
All right.
Exactly. I don't want to do it flaccid.
That's
10,
smart.
10, I can't get it up. I can't get it up for 10. 12?
Yeah.
Takes the extra $2,000 to get it up.
Yeah.
Here's the next one. It's not as crazy. How much to post on Facebook, Trump 2020, and then you couldn't do anything for 24 hours?
Ooh.
Jesus.
That's great.
Oh, boy. I would do that for... Oh, boy.
I love how this is making you think more than streaking and fighting Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I really think about, you have just other idiots. I really think about every aspect of these questions, Josh. I don't just dilly-dally.
No, I know. You're great, dude. You're great, man.
This is a
But it's
life-changing
24 hours.
It just sits on your
comment
Facebook.
on it.
You can't comment,
Okay.
can't say nothing. And then
Go
you
ahead.
see it.
Andrew, you're first.
Andrew, I
Okay.
can't see your phone, so I mean, it's not. You don't need to
Just
show.
gonna. Oh, okay. You're just gonna trust me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say 1,000.
$1,000.
$1,000. Because
All right.
and do you want to go, Brandt?
No, I want to
Brandt,
hear your
or do you want-
explanation.
Because 24. I think I don't use my Facebook that much, especially my personal. So I feel like I'd get heat, but I think people also would know. I'm pretty political when I do post anyway, so people would go, I don't know, that doesn't sound right. Maybe got hacked, whatever. I think I could write it out for 24 hours. So 1,000. I just would be mad at myself. So it'd take 1,000 just to wash the shame off of me.
I would do it for $85,000. Now here's my explanation. Because if I post that, I have no shot of ever booking another show here in Denver for years. I'd never be on TV. I'd be banished from the industry. Everybody would screenshot it. I could never be on TV. I think if the rest of my career, I think I'll probably make about $85,000 total for if I do this for 55 more years. So I think that is why the price is high, and I would lose so many fans that buy tickets and buy shirts and books and stuff. It's a hard number to put on because a lot of people would never talk to me ever again. I was kind of writing a joke about it. I see people post on Facebook dude, I don't care that you donated a kidney to my fucking son. How dare you post about Trump? I'll never fucking speak to you ever again. It doesn't matter that I'm just so I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it would cost you a lot. No one would take me serious because I don't care about politics, but for the sake of the game, if I'd really overthinking these questions, 85,000 is my answer.
Okay, so Andrew, you said 1,000. How much
Yeah.
for you to take a sign and walk around Portland?
A Trump 2020 sign and walk around Portland? I don't think you got that.
85,000.
Actually, you know what's funny? I almost. It's funny because I think that you could do it. There is a number. I think I would do it for I would do that before I'd fight Mike Tyson. I'll put it that way. So it's less than the number that it takes me to get in the ring with Mike Tyson.
That makes sense.
I'm more scared of Mike Tyson than I am of these liberal Portland people. They don't want to really fight, so
I throw a milkshake at you, and you love milkshakes.
they won't even, but they wouldn't be prepared,
Yeah.
These protesters, they get all geared up by 10 o'clock at night to and they bring their shields for the police. They're not preparing for me walking around during the day with my Trump sign, you know?
Yeah. All right. I like it. All right. Next question. How much would it take for you to run a marathon? No training. You had to run it next Saturday.
Oh my God.
Oh, I mean,
And the only way you get paid is if you finish.
but you don't have a time.
But can you walk?
You can walk
parts
it.
of it?
You can walk it.
Okay.
All right,
I got my number.
I got mine.
What do you
I'll
got?
do it for $800.
Eight?
Just because it ruined my day. It's just like I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I would just do it to show you I could do it, and that's probably a little high, but
The Venmo you $800 right now for you to do a fucking marathon.
I'll do it. I'll do it next Saturday if you want.
Man,
I mean,
we
I
were
was-
close. I said 1,200. I said 1,200 because I literally thought that. I was like, yeah, it's just like something I don't want to do, but I've done gigs with the same level of like
Yeah.
angst, and that's about the number that it takes me to like. So yeah, I said 12.
Okay. Next one. Take a bar mat shot. You guys know what a bar mat shot is?
Oh yeah, just all the shit that falls
shit
into the.
Spilled and dropped in the thing.
I can go. I'm ready. I got mine.
What do you got, Andrew?
$50. Eating shit or drinking shit. That's the gross. It does not. It's not a. I should have been on Fear Factor. I really should have. I would have been good at it.
$50?
$50. It's all alcohol. I mean, it's not like it's like there's actual gross shit in there, right?
I mean, yeah, sometimes they put Bailey's in it and it curdles in the shot
Well,
glass.
yeah. But beyond, but it's not like there's like.
But it's just a shot.
Just a
It's
shot.
just ultimately it's all alcohol, so it's like it'll taste bad. But how much worse is it really gonna taste than like fucking just straight
Yeah.
whiskey?
Half the shots I take are bad anyway.
Yeah.
How about you, Brandt?
I said 200, but I changed it to 100. I would do it for 100, and I would probably do it for 50. Honestly, the more I think about it, listen to
How
Andrew.
many shots have I had before that one? Changes the number.
Oh, yeah.
If
you
I've
did-
had 6, I'd probably just do it for free.
Yeah, exactly.
First of all, I'm a douche. If fucking 10 people around saying do it, I'll do it for free.
Right.
I want to be cool.
All right, here's the next one. How much to take a fastball to the body from a major league pitcher?
Oof.
Damn.
Below the neck is what you're saying?
I mean, you're standing in the box. He probably won't hit you in the head. Yeah.
Well, there's a big difference. You got to clarify it. Below the neck or
Body.
anywhere?
To the
Okay.
body. He's not going to hit you in the head. But you have a helmet.
I would do that for. God damn it.
All right.
You're
I
just
would-
I'm gonna
standing there and you know it's coming.
Go ahead.
say 5,000.
5,000?
Yeah, because it's got to be significantly less than the Mike Tyson thing again, because that's going to be so much worse.
I know you got to set the bar low with Mike Tyson. I mean, some people.
Well, I said 25. Didn't I say 25? I thought I said 25. For
Yeah,
Mike
you are, but some people have said like $1 million.
Yeah, but
So-
they're pussies.
They're not thinking it through. If someone gave you 800,000 to last around Mike Tyson, you're going to do it.
First of all, for $100,000, I'll do anything you ever write on that fucking stupid piece of paper. Except for smoke a cigarette, weirdly.
Suicide is one of the things, dude, for 100,000.
Well, that doesn't do any good. I would take this ball for I tell you what though, this one made me really cringe, and this one, just the thought of it would really hurt. But I would do it for 2,500.
Okay, what'd you say, Andrew? I forgot.
I said $5,000. I don't know. I'd be worried about like the kidney or like
Yeah.
lacerating a spleen or some shit, because then that's all medical bills. But I'm gonna say 5, assuming I can like turn like they try and take
Yeah,
it in the
you
back
turn
or
it.
something.
Now, what if it's Randy Johnson?
Randy Johnson right now,
Randy Johnson
20
in his prime.
2,200.
I don't.
Randy
I
Johnson
would,
10 years ago,
Yeah.
10,000.
I'd give him. He gets like $300 more. I don't think there's that big a difference between 99 and 97. Really, I don't think. I think the bruise is going to be the same. I don't.
Left-handed,
people
right
are-
into you. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, how much to wear 2 arm casts for a month?
Ugh.
Like the big one.
Oh man.
What month?
Yeah, I know. A quarantine month, I would have done it.
A football month, I'm all right, but June, I'd I mean, I don't do shit during football, but sit there with a remote and a beer in each hand anyway. So I would say on this one, I'd do it for, God, it would just suck. I mean, but I've been through pandemic. This is a weird question, like post-pandemic. I would do it for, I got to make it worth it. I'd do it for 8,000.
Oh, interesting. I was going to say 4,000. Because I was trying to think of like, it's got to at least cover my expenses for the month. Because what if I don't want to do shit else, you know?
You can't do anything else.
You can't, dude. You got 2
Yeah,
arm.
you can.
I mean, I guess
I can do stand up. I can do stand up with 2 arm casts.
You can't fucking guard. You couldn't even be a gardener anymore, bro.
No, that's why I need $4,000.
barely could type.
But I'd rather have the arm cast than be a gardener, I think. No, I like working in the garden. $4,000, I'm sticking with it.
This one's worse than a lot of the other ones, honestly, because you really couldn't do anything. You couldn't text.
Well, I'd much rather run a marathon.
Oh, for sure. You couldn't text. You couldn't wipe your ass. You couldn't eat. Someone had to feed you. You can't really do anything.
What's your answer?
The wiping is, I had not considered that.
How about the eating?
Yeah, but then someone can just feed you. You can just get someone to feed you.
You have a wife and a girlfriend. They'd be fine.
Yeah.
Your wife's got a baby to feed. You think she wants to feed both of you?
Well, she doesn't want to, but that's the contract. For better or worse, that's part of it. Bad luck for her, you know.
That's what she signed up for. Daddy's got to make that money.
How much, Brandt, did you say?
For what?
You said 8.
I said 8,000.
And you said 4, Andrew?
I know, but I should have gone higher. But
I'd rather fight Tyson than do that, honestly.
Oh my God.
I think I'd be miserable. I couldn't do any of this. I couldn't do anything. You can't do a month is a long time to do.
You figure it out, you know. Disabled people do shit all the time.
Okay, here's the next one. How much to not say a word for a month?
Ugh.
Oh.
Not one word. And if you said it, you'd have to pay the amount that you
Oh my God. Well, that's scary because then the higher you go, the riskier it is.
All right, let's not do it that way. Let's just say, all right, how much if you just did not say a word for a month?
I would say like, texting makes this a little easier. You can still communicate. So I dropped my price in half because of texting. So I'd do it for 25,000.
25,000.
Wow.
Be miserable. I don't want to be. You can't put a price on miserable. It sucks,
bro.
But if you can, but like you said, with texting and
miserable
and writing, I don't know. I in my head it was 9.
9,000
for 9,000.
I love how all your numbers are just fucking not even. It's great.
Well, I guess I don't know why, but
12,043.
Yeah, it's like Price is Right.
Yeah. So 9K. Okay. I mean, I think Brandt, if somebody was like, hey man, here's 9,000, you can't say a word for a month.
I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just like to talk.
Duct tape your mouth shut.
You'd have to break I could do it.
You'd have to break my jaw.
But you couldn't do any shows or podcasts or anything. And so you have to calculate what you'd lose by canceling shows. So that's how I came up with the number.
I tell you what, if I was going to do it, I'd want to do it when I had my broken arms. If you let me parlay them together, pay 13-5. Then I'd just be a miserable fuck for a month, and then just give me my money.
But you can do anything for a month, you know.
Brett's just for 25K.
It's so miserable. Oh.
Okay, how much to go skydiving?
Oh, I'd do that for if you just paid for it.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to do it.
Yeah, 50. I'll go to the bar shot thing. $50.
Okay.
I'm not scared of
skydiving if there was 4 parachutes but only 3 were packed.
$1 million.
Yeah, that's the thing too. 2 million for me.
$1 million and 2 million.
Actually, more than that.
The 25% chance to die, dude.
I would say I would make mine like 10 million. Honestly, it would have to really take care of my family for time to come.
I probably just wouldn't do it. I mean, yeah. When you put it like that, you have a 25% to die. I don't think there's a number. I'd be too scared.
Honestly, that question is just to kind of see where you guys are at in your life, just to see if you guys are okay.
We got good lives.
Yeah, I mean, shit's been really bad, but I can't complain.
Yeah, not that bad.
Okay, you guys seen those videos of like the slap competition?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How much to get slapped by one of those professional guys?
God, they get knocked out.
Knocked out, bro. Just like.
So this is just back to the Mike Tyson thing, because it's basically taking a punch.
I mean, yeah. What would you be more scared of, the slap or Mike Tyson?
I don't know, because I feel like with Mike Tyson, at least I can run around and I could take a dive. I could pretend like he hit me if he didn't get me.
Just gotta get
all the way.
glanced. Yeah.
Yeah.
This, you have to throw a punch.
I know, but I can fake that too. But this, I mean, they can't move, and they don't just slap you. They like hit you in the side of the.
Yeah, you're just bolting it.
Man, so I'm if I said 25 for Mike Tyson, I gotta say more. I'm gonna say 40 grand.
Whew. I'd do this one for. I couldn't say no to 10,000. I'd have to do it for 10,000.
Yeah, I think Brandt.
I think I could.
Cash.
That's a lot of shows, man.
You would do it for 10,000 cash.
It would hurt so bad.
So bad, dude. Just.
And you could that really, talk about concussions and shit. That could rattle your brain. I've seen some where I've seen too many of those. Where they literally, this giant 400-pound guy gets hit and then they just collapse. They pass out.
Yeah, man.
I had a 95-pound Asian masseuse slap the shit out of me one time, and my ears rang for like 2 days. What? Yeah, she was fucking mad because I didn't want to pay for a blowjob, but it wasn't even a blowjob, Long story. Long story.
I mean, I think we got the gist.
It doesn't sound that long.
It doesn't sound that long at all.
About 8 inches. Oh.
Oh.
The slap. Her finger.
Oh, man. This isn't on my list, but I want to know, how much would it take for you to do a kickoff return in the NFL?
Free.
You had to try to make it to the 40-yard line.
Free.
Yeah, that I'm less scared of. That
I would love to do that. It'd be a dream come true.
No pads.
I don't care.
No pad. You're trying to make it worse as we go along. I'd do it for $100, I guess.
I'd pay $100
just to be on TV.
Just to be in the NFL. You're in the record books forever. NFL player, bro.
I wouldn't care about that, but it would be kind of.
You wouldn't want to be a Seahawk jersey with your name on it, the crowd going crazy, Andrew.
No, they'd be booing because I'd make it to like the 8 before I got.
You don't know that.
Fumbled. They're like, this guy sucks.
You're running for your life.
Make a wish, dude. They wouldn't boo you, dude. You'd be fine.
They'd be like, they let that dying guy run the kickoff back.
I would cheer for you.
All right, I got 2 more of these. Next one. You guys, neither of you have tattoos, do you?
No.
Okay, so these ones. How much to get a tramp stamp tattoo?
Oh.
Of what? Just like
anything we choose?
Your choice.
I would do every time you go swimming, every time you take that shirt off, it's a conversation.
And then that's the only one we have for the rest of our lives?
I mean, yeah, so far on this. I mean, that's up to you. Maybe you get addicted.
Well, then I would just do a whole back piece and cheat your stupid game. But if I just had to have one.
Do you really cheat my game if you get a whole back piece?
No, I don't know if I would do a whole back piece.
Tramp stamp's not embarrassing if you have a dope back piece. Tramp stamp just sucks when it stands alone.
All right.
There's a big difference.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not making fun of a dude with a big old back piece. You're like, oh, that dude's got tats.
You have no tattoos. You're not going to get a back piece.
Let's just keep it at a hypothetical. You have to just get a tramp stamp.
Just a tramp stamp.
Don't try and cheat out of it. I'm going to say $125,000.
Wow. Oh, shit.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I would do it.
I really would not want that.
I wouldn't want it, but I would do something funny that you would obviously know it was a joke. So I would do it for what's a stupid joke worth to me? I'd do it for 10,000.
I think, 10,000 cash. Somebody told me to get a tramp stamp. I think
No, it's forever. All this other stuff, as bad as it is,
That is
only
true.
lasts for like a moment. Streaking at a baseball game, I mean, that's over in a day.
Yeah, but you have video of your little ass dick streaking at the game.
Yeah, but if you get a tramp
Well,
stamp,
why
you
is it
never
gotta
have
be
to see
little?
it.
I mean, Brandt.
Oh, okay.
I'll slap you.
25K. Okay, well then if that was your answer, this one's definitely gonna be a lot higher. How much to get a neck tattoo of Katy Perry?
Oh, yeah, like 500,000, $1 million. I'm going $1 million. I got to be set for life. $1 million.
Million?
I said
$1
earlier,
million set me for life. I don't even know anymore.
I don't think so.
you'd be all right in Wyoming. I said earlier in the show I'd do anything for 100,000, so I guess I got to stick with that. I'd take a Katy Perry tattoo on my neck so my kid could go to college, and I'd say, hey, this is for you, son.
Okay, so anything for 100,000. What about a swastika tattoo on your neck?
No, I would not do that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
900,000.
900,000.
No, I wouldn't do it.
I'd get a swastika on my neck for
Don't say an amount.
there's an amount. I would. I mean, there's a
number.
price for everything, dude. I mean,
There's
There is a price for
because,
everything.
like, let's be stupid about it and say $50 billion. I mean, you can have a swastika on your face. You're still going everywhere, getting 5-star treatment. No one can be mean to you,
Yeah.
you know.
that's what I'm saying. So I would do it probably for.
Yeah, but you have to explain the story every time.
I got this to get $50 billion. It's a quick story. It's quicker than the
story
masseuse
tells
one.
itself. By the time they get to you, everyone knows you. I'd do it for $10 million.
Okay, that's a legit answer. That won't get you canceled.
I don't. You can cancel me. I'm rich.
I know.
If I have $10 million, I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
All right, the last one. How much to cup your dad's balls for 1 hour?
My dad?
But, yeah,
Yeah, maybe that's not.
you'd have to resist not crushing them.
All right, you could do maybe your stepdad, Brandt.
I don't know if it matters. Honestly, it's
For
not
1
really that-
hour,
For an hour, just holding them.
it would have to be
Hard.
enough where I could
Hold up.
split the money with them.
I mean, you
Okay.
probably have to because you're gonna have to have that conversation with him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd do that for. I mean, I don't really care if we could talk about it. Like, hey, let's just get through this and get this money.
Yeah. For some reason, 10 sounds right. I don't know.
Yeah, and
10,000?
Yeah.
I'd probably do it for 10 if we both just get $5,000 after an hour of not. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Unless it gets
quick
hard
one.
or he comes or something would be weird, but I have a feeling we'll just sit there and look at the clock and
Yeah. Can we set up a bonus that if he comes, that we get
Boner
more?
bonus?
I want 100 if something happens, but just
All right,
10 is
last
fine.
question. How much for you guys to cup each other's balls?
I mean, it
I
wouldn't
mean,
be-
we've already done it a few times, so no one's paid us before.
yeah, I mean, it's just bonus round here. I mean, I don't know if I could.
I don't know, less than my dad.
Yeah,
It would be
I mean,
a little less weird. 5. I'll go to 5.
yeah, we just probably do it for 5.
We both got 2,500, and then we could. Yeah, I think that would be worth it.
I mean, it would just be dumb. We would just be like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Too funny, guys. Well, that's it, man. I appreciate it. You guys have anything you want to plug or talk about? What you guys got going on? Brandt?
No. You can find me, Brandt Tobler. Go buy my book, Free Roll. My podcast called The 31. I don't care.
So that was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that was a lot of stuff.
What do you mean, no?
Yeah. You did.
Yeah, me and Brandt have a podcast about stand-up, and then I have another podcast called the Cavalry that I do with a funny comedian named Johnny Beaner. And I don't know, maybe I'll do shows again one day. Go to my website, andrewcomedy.com.
Cool. And then what's your guys' podcast about the stand-up? What's it called?
Stand Up Explained. If you want to be a comedian,
Cool.
check it out.
A lot of good info. We go
and it's free. We go deep. You'll learn a lot about comedy, and it's much better than wasting your money on a comedy class.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Thanks, buddy. That was fun. I thought it was going to be awful.
Yeah.
So that was great.
That was great.
Thank you guys.
I only did it because Andrew's doing it, but it was ended up being all right. So.
Hello. If you're hearing this, that means you made it all the way through the episode, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. If you liked it, tell your friends, share it. If you're on YouTube, please smash that like button. I've just always wanted to say that. If you're listening on Apple, maybe give it a rating. But I really appreciate you listening. Thank you so much. One more thing. If you ever have any questions you want to submit for What's Your Price, do it at jnelson.comedy@gmail.com or hit me up on Instagram, jnelsоncomedy, and I'll read your question and we'll ask the guests whatever questions you have if they're good. All right, thanks a lot for listening.